If you've been told you're of advanced maternal age, have been diagnosed with PCOS, or you just haven't been given the answers that you deserve, then I think you're going to find this video really useful. So this video is going to be a little bit different, but I think you're really going to like it and find it useful. What I want to hear from all of you is if you do find it useful and practical for your fertility journey. So leave a comment below and let me know. This is what I'm going to do. I'm going to analyze the real life story of a woman that I coached, and her name is Donna. Donna was able to get pregnant at 45 with PCOS after 13 years of trying to get pregnant. We're going to listen to her while we go in depth so you can understand what she did, and hopefully you can apply some of those same things into your fertility journey. If you've been told you're of advanced maternal age, have been diagnosed with PCOS, or you just haven't been given the answers that you deserve, then I think you're going to find this video really useful. Before I get started, I want to quickly announce that my fertility coaching program to work with me one-on-one is open. If you want me as your fertility coach to help you get pregnant naturally, then I want you to click on the link below in the description so that you can apply. This program is by application only. If you qualify, you'll be able to join. Now let's get on with the video.
I'm 45, I'm a New Yorker, and I was married when I was 28, and I got divorced when I was 32. And at that time, during that period, I wasn't sure about having kids. So we weren't trying, but we also weren't preventing. But when I got, and towards the end of the marriage, we started thinking more about children, but only because doctors started pressuring me. When I turned 30, they were saying, oh, you're turning 30 and fertility is going to decline. You should start thinking. And I didn't really feel ready, but I felt that pressure of time.
So I think this is a really important piece that we often ignore, and it's not specifically appropriate in terms of creating your specific plan, but time and feeling pressured by whoever it is, whether it's your OBGYN, your partner, or your family, is a big piece and a comment that I hear often from women or couples that I work with. And I think it's important for us to understand what this really means, okay? Because just because you turn 30 doesn't mean the light switches are turning off. It means that you need to find a time that is appropriate for you and your fertility planning so you can start a family. Don't feel pressured to start a family just because somebody else is telling you or all the people around you are starting to have children and you feel like you need to keep up with the Joneses.
And I should mention, when I was in graduate school, I took part in a research study and found out that I had PCOS. I did know about PCOS, but I didn't really understand how it would affect fertility. And so I got divorced when I was 32. And then about 2 years later, I started dating someone new. I was 34, and I really, really wanted to have kids then. And so I went back to that same doctor and said, okay, I'm back. And it was a reproductive endocrinologist. And I said, I'm back and I really want to have a kid now. So I'm ready to do, maybe a little bit more than even just Clomid. So he talked to me about IUIs, and I said, okay, fine. And so we went through that whole process, semen analysis and doing IUIs, and we did 3. And all 3 were unsuccessful. And at the time, I didn't really understand my lab work. Did a ton of lab work, but I didn't understand any of it. And I didn't know why the IUIs didn't work. I just knew they didn't work. And so
I want to make a point here. She knew she had PCOS, like many of you probably do or did. She went into the reproductive endocrinologist and they moved straight into IUI. And she did 3 rounds of IUI and they failed. And I hear this all the time. I did IUI, it didn't work. What do I do? Or where do I go? Or why did I even do IUI? Here's the missing piece. She knew she had PCOS and she knew it for years, but she didn't spend the time to treat and manage the PCOS in the appropriate way before she went forward with IUI. She only realized that later, which you'll hear. But the biggest piece of this is that we're often pushed forward in the fertility process and journey without ever spending time to treat the underlying issues that are at play. And in her case, or possibly your case, the PCOS. And so it's really important that we try to treat and address these underlying issues first before you move forward so that you can have a better journey, a faster journey, and the results that you're looking for in hopefully the time frame you're looking for. Who knows, if she would have treated the PCOS prior to this, she may have been successful on her IUIs at that time.
Looking at my labs too, I realized that the things I had did make a difference, and that's why the period was getting better. With PCOS, because, my LH was 3 times my FSH. And by the time I got to Marc, they were kind of 1-to-1, like they were in line with one another. And so because he explained the results, I was like, oh, that's why the period had started to improve. I had improved my LH, and lowered it considerably. And so then that motivated me. Like, okay, so, diet, supplements, it does make a difference. I am, changing my own body chemistry. And so then I cut out, I'm very into fitness.
So as hard as it is to make changes with your diet, with your exercise, with all the lifestyle changes that we ask you to do, once you start to see the changes and the benefits that is happening, like she did, then you're motivated to keep going. You see the long-term goal, you see the light at the end of the tunnel, and you can see a reason why you're doing these things and the benefit of it, right? So it keeps you motivated. So as hard as it is in the beginning, I want you all to know that this is going to keep you going and that it will become easier to make these changes and see the results that you want.
And he had me cut out everything strenuous. I gave up Bikram yoga, hot yoga, and I was like a fanatic yogi. I gave up aggressive cycling, and I turned to just doing gentle yoga, walking, sometimes running.
A big part of PCOS patients, and I actually just got off of a call with a woman that I'm coaching. It's the same situation with her with PCOS, is that stress plays an enormous role in the impact of you being able to regulate your cycles. And for both of them, the more stress, the more irregular the cycles become. And so a big part is for us to manage that stress. But stress doesn't always come in emotional stress. Sometimes it comes in physical stress. So increased exercise can be a stressor. Obviously, stress of work or in the environment or lifestyle, the environmental toxins can be stressors. So any stress that's going to impact your body, your hormones, and your health needs to be managed properly, which is why, in her case, I pulled her back on her strenuous exercise, and I wanted her to do more gentle exercise, but exercise was still important. So it's about finding the right type so that we're not causing more damage to the process.
Figure out how to get my period to come on its own, because of PCOS and being on the pill from about 17 to about 30, it wrecked my period. And so I took myself off the pill on my own against my doctor's recommendation, because I said, you're not going to fix my period. You just have me on a pill. I need to figure out how to fix it. And so I went on this quest to try and figure out how to fix it. And so for years, I was changing diet, taking supplements, doing all of that stuff, trying different things, seeing different specialists. And in the process, I moved to Atlanta when I was, how old was I? I think I was maybe 40 when I moved to Atlanta. So that's about 6 years.
So let's follow this progression. She knew she had PCOS. She did a bunch of blood work and lab work, but no one interpreted for her. She didn't understand what it meant. She went on a journey during this time after she was out of her relationships to fix her cycles and her hormones and her PCOS on her own, which often I hear that I'm going to do all of this on my own. And I do believe a lot of you can do so much of it on your own, but I think it would be much faster for you if you had the right guidance and structure to make that happen. And she was just changing her diets, changing her exercise, but she wasn't seeing the results. So I want you all to remember all of that, okay?
And it was still very inconsistent. And then I ran into this acupuncturist who's also a herbalist. And she was like, there's issues with your liver, and that's going to affect everything. And so we started naturally doing things to work on my liver. And that definitely helped. The period it got better. I used to go from maybe 60, 70 days, or 70 days, and now it went down to every 60 days I would have a period, which was still, abysmal. And so then I went to someone new, and we got it down to every 42 days. And so even and it was consistent. And so that was the best I had ever been, 42 days.
So on her own and with some guidance from a couple of acupuncturists, she was able to take her menstrual cycle from 70 days. She got off the pill, remember. She was able to take her cycles from 70 days to 60 days and now to 44 days or 43 days, she said. So that's huge progress. It's a good step in the right direction. Okay, and that's what we're looking for. For PCOS patients, we're looking for consistency, even if it's not always a perfect 28-day cycle.
I'm about 41. Yeah, about 41 when this is happening. And so now I really feel the age pressure. I'm like, okay, I need to really do something drastic. And so I start Googling and I join.
I want to point out here also for all of you, she knew that she had PCOS when she was 30. She's now 41. I want you all to be proactive about your health now, not later. It's okay to seek help to regulate your hormones, your cycles, and your PCOS, or anything that's going on with your menstrual cycle sooner rather than later. Even if you're not in a relationship, even if you're not ready to get pregnant, do it now. It's going to make your life so much easier later. It's going to make your fertility process and journey so much easier later. So be proactive when you know there's an issue. Listen to your gut, listen to your body, and take action sooner rather than later.
Someone mentioned Marc. And so I went to his website and it seemed cool. And I said, okay, I'm going to do a consult. And so I do the phone consult with him. And he explained, he has me send my lab work. The lab work that I had did from when I was 34. So this is years later. And he's now explaining what all those results mean. And I start crying because it was like the first time that I understood my own. So even though I was trying to do things, it's like spinning a wheel and you're not really getting anywhere without really understanding what was happening. You know, it's really hard to make a change. And so I remember thanking him. I remember feeling like, you know, I didn't even pay you anything and you took the time to help me understand my own health. And that's how I knew I had to work with this person because he.
So here's a key piece. She had blood work done when she was 34. No one ever explained it to her. The first thing that I will do with all of you, that my team will do with all of you, is we will explain your blood work when we get to reviewing it, okay? And when we run new lab work, we're going to explain to you what our findings are and why we think we're seeing these issues and what's going on. So you're going to get an explanation. We're not just going to give you everything's fine or we found some things, here, take something. You're going to get an actual explanation like she did.
And I was already on the path to eating healthier. But I started with him doing things like bone broth and castor oil packs and, you know, just a lot of different things that I hadn't tried before. And then continuing the things that I had already started. So acupuncture and meditation. And, that was kind of the journey. But when I got to Marc, I think that's when I started to really believe it was going to happen. I had always hoped and wanted to be a mom, but it was like he made it tangible. Like I could feel it now. Like I'm going to become a mom. We're going to make this happen. I don't know when, but we're going to get there.
I hear this all the time. Again, today with that woman that I was just telling you about that I was coaching, and you can hear it from Donna. Many of you lose hope. You lose belief in yourself. And I'm telling you that I will tell you the truth. We will guide you in the right way to find the right path for you. And hopefully that path actually is partly restoring hope and restoring belief in yourself that you will see the results. But we're not going to lie to you. We're going to tell you the truth. And we're going to tell you what we believe is true for you from a natural perspective if you're willing to put in the time, the energy, and the resources to seeing the results and getting the change that you desire, just like she did.
To be able to email him and say, I'm pregnant, you know, and then she was born. Oh, yeah. So I did my IVF retrieval when I was 52, at a time when everyone's thinking this is, you know, the odds are going to be very low. And that's when I did retrieval. And then I froze the embryos for a year. And then I transferred at 43. And she was born in when I was 44.
So she was determined to do this on her own. And she wanted to make sure she was healthy enough. So against a lot of recommendations, she spaced everything out by a year. So she did her IVF retrieval Then she froze those embryos, and then she took a year to recover to make sure she was ready, healthy enough to transfer. She did it on her terms, on her timeline for what worked for her, not what everybody else was saying to do. And she got pregnant at 43. She delivered a healthy baby at 44 because she did it her way when she was ready with the right guidance and the right plan. And that's what I was able to help guide her through.
Though all the information is readily available, especially because it's the internet, there are some things that you just don't understand because it's not what you focus on or what you've been educated on. And so I think for me, at the time, I'm thinking I could just read my way through things, and I think maybe that's what a lot of the followers think too. I'll just read an article, and that will tell me do these 5 things, and then I'll get pregnant. I think pregnancy is a lot more complex than that, and we take it for granted because there's so many people on the earth. You just assume it has to be easy. So maybe not assuming that it's so easy, because if you didn't, then maybe you'd be more willing to get an expert involved if you realize it's not that easy. And 2, I think I would tell myself that it's okay to acknowledge that this is hard and it's not easy for you, even though it might seem easy for others.
This is key, okay, for all of you trying, is that you can do so much on your own, but you can do it so much faster, so much easier, and with the right guidance and plan if you have the right person coaching you and looking for the issues to help you break through that in the right way and in a much faster way. And it's okay to ask for help and to get help, just like Donna said, because often we all need help in all aspects of life, and fertility is no different. So to wrap it up, I want all of you to know, first and foremost, you can get the help that you need and that you deserve, and that with the proper plan, the proper coaching, and enough time and patience on your part, you can get the results you're looking for, the pregnancy you're looking for, and hopefully the family that you desire. I also want you to tell me, what was the one thing that Donna mentioned that really struck a chord with you, that made you second guess the way you were approaching things and it's making you think about doing things a little bit differently? I want you to comment below and let me know what that is. Okay, and I want you all to know that me and my team are here for you. And again, if you're looking for a coach to help you on your fertility journey, then I want you to apply to work with me in my fertility program by using the link below. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you found it really important, I want you to share it with somebody who you think could find a lot of value in what we just shared. And until the next video, I want you all to stay fertile.